Mathras, you're still alive? Or undead?
Are you trying to be funny? Of course I am. Though I did nearly have to change bodies. So here we are, a little closer to our goal. Of course, the next thing we must do is to find a way to dispose of Blackfart's wives.
Blackfart's wives?
Are you shocked? Blackfrost's polygamy is probably a reflection of his megalomania, even though it was quite common in the past. The most powerful of them is called the Guardian. She is protecting the palace entry, and I fear she is invulnerable as long as her three sisters live. You must first face the Creator, the Stalker, and then the Watcher, if you are to have any chance of defeating her.
I've already beaten one of them. I can kill the others.
You are more than capable, my dear. There is no doubt about that. But this place is bathed in a kind of corruption that lends strength to these creatures.
Is there a way of getting rid of it?
Probably. There are still a few red scribes around. Stupid though they are, they may have some idea how to proceed. Did you know that before it became Blackfart's Folly, this place was originally a palace built by the elves, devoted entirely to theater and song?
I kind of doubt that's going to help me much.
Alas, what a dull world it has become. You know, the acoustics in there are quite wonderful. You should give it a listen while you're killing the concubines.
What do you know about these creatures?
Well, I don't know them as intimately as I'd like, but I believe they are women who were chosen for their diverse talents, and our fine Ice Lord decided to transform them. He calls them his concubines, and they serve him faithfully. Many men might dream of a situation such as that, but let me reassure you, I am not that sort.
Mathras, got a moment?
My dear, I have all of eternity.
We need to talk about your combat style.
What would you like best? Perhaps I should use Espehor the Ancient's fighting technique. Or something more visceral, like that of Manipur Three-Blades.
Maybe. Hey, don't change anything.
My dear, your indecision is really quite worrisome.
I want to ask you a couple of questions. Did you know that Edwin was really the White Lady the whole time?
Yes, even though I almost didn't recognize her with all that clothing on. You may not believe it, but when she was a young girl amongst the White Lords, she liked to stroll around nearly naked.
How come you never said anything?
Oh, please. It would be a shame to spoil the delightful humor of such a situation.
Why are you still here?
You mean other than the pleasure of being near you? Well, you see, my dear, my curiosity knows no bounds. And you already know I'm immortal. I should think those two reasons would be enough to allow me to be present for the end of the world, though obviously it is my dearest wish that your little plan should succeed. Your capacity to resist the intrusion in your body of an extraordinary spirit is absolutely fascinating. Know that if the world is not totally destroyed in the next few hours, but that you should fall, I shall be inconsolable, and I shall celebrate your name for hundreds of years. Or for a short while, anyway.
That'll be a real consolation to me once I'm decomposing. This Blackfrost, have you ever met him before?
It's entirely possible, but if I did, he didn't go by that name in those days. You see, at that time, I found the company of any and all living creatures quite simply unbearable. But of course, I hadn't yet had the pleasure of meeting you. I had decided to move to an area as far away from anyone else as possible. As the desert climate tends to wear out my bodies faster, I opted to move up to the great frozen north. I lived there peacefully in my modest palace for some years, until one day, a small group of people arrived. There were a dozen apprentice sorcerers who called themselves the White Lords. Believe me, in those days, Lord was about the last thing anyone would think of calling them. On reflection, I should have slain them on the spot for having disturbed my peace and stolen some books from my archives. But I was rather bored, and their thefts intrigued me, and so I followed them. I picked up their trail in a city a few towns along. There were quite a few of them at the time, and the locals seemed to like them well enough.
Are you talking about the Ice Lords?
Yes, of course, though they weren't calling themselves that. I watched them for a while, but they were so ridiculous that I quickly grew bored of them. Clearly, managing to steal from my library had been the result of the merest stroke of luck.
And Black Frost?
Doubtless he was one of them. A talentless conjurer who imagined himself a great mage without having any of the abilities to go with the title. Of course, with the passing of time, and using my research, they finally managed to achieve their goal. If they're still the gang of megalomaniacs that they were, then they are extremely dangerous.
Talk to you later.